I used to play like when I was 9, 10, or until like 13. I was playing great back in Chile, but every time I came here to the States, I was coming probably like one time a year for the summer here, and I would play one or two tournaments. And yeah, I mean, I never played great here. I was nervous, like I was expecting too much for myself. Like I was putting too much pressure on me, you know. And when I was like 13, 14, I think I won a tournament. It was called like the Optimist that they do in Palm Beach. And it is not like a major tournament, but it was something really special for me because it was my first victory outside from Chile. So I think after that I started getting a lot of confidence on my game, and like traveling and being myself. I think after that win it helped me a lot to grow up a lot and start playing a lot better outside South America.
Probably learned a lot from the adversity too. Some of the tournaments you didn't play great in, and the nerves that came with that. I'm sure there was some learning experiences that came with that. So what's Chilean support like for you? What's the level of fame in your home country like?
Yeah, so there's a junior league that is called Faction. It's like for people under 18 years old. And I remember every time I came to the state, because called Faction, because you gotta qualify being the number one ranked junior player. So every time I finished first, they give me an invite to come here to the States, and I got into one or two tournaments sometimes. And yeah, I mean, I remember it was hard, but yeah, I mean, they of course they didn't pay you to come here, so I gotta figure out by my own. My family had to figure out how to get the flights and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it was also from the Chilean Federation. There's a lot of help in between, but yeah, I mean, I had to pay some of my stuff, which it was hard a little bit for my dad, but yeah, we always figure out a way to come here and play and get experience.
Yeah, I was kind of going more towards, what do you feel as far as, when you're playing in professional tournaments even today, and when you go back to Chile, how big of a rock star are you back in Chile? In the video, it looked pretty cool, the excitement of your family when you go back home and whatnot. But is it a big deal, and are people gathered around TVs to watch you back home?
Yeah, yeah. Every time I go back, it's a little bit different. Of course, every time I go to a golf course where I play in the polo, all the people that I go through, they are like, "Hey, Joaquin, how are you? How was it? Congratulations!" And blah blah blah. And they start talking to me, and I mean, it's fine, but I like more when like young people, like kids, like 10 years old kids, come up to me and like, "Hey," like ask me any question. I really enjoy doing that, like helping out them. Sometimes I play with them. We go to the putting green together. We hit some balls together, and like being around kids, I really enjoy myself. I mean, I'm still a kid, so I like playing with them. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I don't like a little bit is when like older people like start talking to me like, "Hey, what are you doing with this?" and blah blah. What happened this turn? That's kind of boring a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's part of the thing.
Do the older people try to give you advice on things?
Nah,
Okay, good.
sometimes they're asking me like some random question that I don't like. So yeah, it's just that.
Well, I mean, your path to the PGA Tour, I guess, were you expecting to make it so quickly? I mean, a lot of, I guess, was college golf ever a thought for you? And when did you realize you had the game to turn professional, especially at such a young age?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to school or just turn pro. And yeah, I mean, I remember when I finished high school, I qualified for the U.S. Open, Eric Hills, and that was the moment I realized after that week that I just wanted to take off, and I didn't want to go to school. And also, I have like good opportunities, good offers, so I think it was I think if I was going to college, there were more to lose than to win. So I just decided to turn pro, get my chances. I got lucky enough that I got a really good agent, Carlos. He gave me money sponsor invite also to Sergio. That Sergio helped me a lot to get into a lot of tournaments. So yeah, I mean, like you say, it was really quick. I didn't know it was gonna be that quick. I thought it was gonna be on Ferry, and yeah, I mean, after I played a couple of good tournaments, I realized it was really close to getting cars, so it was something really special.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, the class of guys that earn special temporary membership through, most people know this, but you get 7 sponsor exemptions that you can use in a year, and you got to earn points, basically be 125th on the FedEx Cup list, and you were able to do that very quickly. Your first PGA Tour event, or I guess your first professional event, I want to know what was the most like, hey, welcome to professional, even when you're an amateur, welcome to professional golf moment, somebody you saw on the range, somebody you saw, there has to be, you couldn't have been playing it cool that first time out there. What sticks out to you from that week?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was more nervous like from Monday to Thursday morning. Like I was like, oh man, I was gonna have to play as a professional and blah blah blah. Like doing this type of question, like it's gonna be different playing for money, playing for a living, like getting the pressure of getting my car and get a job, And then I was on Thursday on the tee and I was like, man, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, I gotta hit the ball, I gotta do the same swing. I'm just playing with with love pads, the only difference. So yeah, I mean, after I played the first hole, I was like, oh yeah, doesn't feel any much different. Yeah, I mean, I played great that week, so it was. I think playing great the first week as a professional gave me a lot of confidence for the next events.
Quick break here to remind you it is not too early to start gift shopping for the holidays, especially because today you can save big on a gift you're going to use every single day. That's Raycon wireless earbuds. You've heard me talk about these. I use them on walks. I use them on hitting balls in the range while I'm building stuff around the house. I listen to podcasts on them. I listen to music on them. Seamless Bluetooth pairing, comfortable, noise isolating fit. You can start listening right away. Keep listening for hours. I still haven't charged them since the last time I said that. Like, you very, very rarely need to charge them. It says you get 6 hours. I swear it's way more than that. Audio quality is amazing. It's comparable to what you get from the premium brands, except Raycon start at half the price. So this holiday season, get that special someone or anyone in your life, something they can use for calls or music or for work or for play at home or on the go, or pick up a pair for yourself. Trust me, you're going to want to use them every day. So go to buyraycon.com/nolayingup today to get 20% off your Raycon order. But hurry, this offer is available for a limited time only. You don't want to miss it. That's buyraycon.com/nolayingup to get 20% off your Raycons. I'm going to do it one more time. Buyraycon.com/nolayingup. Let's get back to Joaquin Nina. Was there anyone, like, who would have been the person that you would have been the most nervous to be around, either to have played with or walk by on the range, or if they're watching you hit balls on the range, you'd have been nervous to be around? Who's someone that one of them at that age would have made you nervous?
Probably playing around Tiger. I think the first time I saw Tiger was at Memorial. It was like my 3rd or 4th tournament, which was a good experience. I remember I was playing great. I was almost in the last group on Sunday, and I mean I could hear that Tiger was, I don't know, like 10 groups in front, but I could hear everything. And I was like, oh, that's loud. And all the people following him. But I think Sergio helped me a lot to like get that pressure up, like know him before I turned pro. Like I was able to play with him before, and now how good they are, and also know that I can be here,
Yeah, I was at that Memorial that year, and I remember watching you tee off on the 10th hole one time. I'd never seen you hit a ball in person, and it just struck out to me immediately. And it shines through on TV, and I'm sure you hear a lot about how low you hit the ball. And I'm just curious, has that always been the case, and is that something that you were aware of growing up, or is there any special reason why you would hit the ball low in Chile, or do you, I guess, think about it that at all?
No, it was fun because at the beginning that started to give me a lot of confidence when I'm like a little bit nervous and I need to hit the fairway. I'll hit that shot, and I remember when I started playing as a professional, I used that shot a lot. But now during the time, I've been using it less. Like I've been using more like high draw, and I'm just trying to hit it farther. But I still have that shot, and I feel really confident when I hit it. And it's like my go-to shot.
That's what I was curious, and I was looking back at the highlights from when you won at Greenbrier. Matt's driver shot comes out, and it's just interesting because of how different the direction the game appears to be heading seems to be, TrackMan and everyone's telling you hit it high, hit it high, hit it high. And I'm wondering if as you were transitioning from amateur into pro, if anybody came along and said, hey, you could hit it this much further if you hit it higher, but I think to what you just said, though, it's interesting how you've prioritized accuracy. But I'm wondering if that has evolved at all over the years.
Yeah, I remember when I played firm courses, that one goes a long way. I mean, I can probably carry like 270 and it runs, it depends on the fairway, but sometimes when they're firm, for example, a green briar, they run a lot, so sometimes it's not that short. But yeah, I mean, normally I'd be preferring just carrying more with the high throw. Sometimes I got bunkers around, or when it's tight, I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna hit the high throw. And at the beginning, I was probably, I don't know if I was a little bit more scared or no, but probably I prefer just hit that low one and be more confident with me and knowing that I'm gonna hit the fairway. But now it's more like I feel better around the course right now, and I just hit that shot that I like more, and it's been pretty good lately, so I like it.
Do you feel, I guess, where do you feel most comfortable? Like firm and fast conditions, or when it's softer?
Yeah, I like when it's firm. I mean, I know that I don't hit it really high, also with the irons. So I mean, it's hard to me to stop a ball on the green when I'm like a 5-iron and they're firm, because I don't hit it like really high. Yeah, I mean, I like playing with firm conditions. I think it's more fun, and playing around the green or hitting wedges from 120 yards is good to see that, like bouncing around the green. That's more fun.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting. Obviously when it's firm, your driver's going to run out a lot more. But like you said, it's harder to hold greens if you hit it low. I want to talk a little about Royal Melbourne and the President's Cup. It's interesting. You didn't have the most success with Royal Melbourne, yet at the same time at Olympia Fields this year, which was very firm and fast. You finished third. And I want to talk a lot about Royal Melbourne. But first off, I would say, did you learn anything in particular from that week that helped you in later situations when it is going to be firm and fast?
Yeah, more than the course, it was more like the atmosphere and like getting that amount of pressure. It was one of those weeks that, I mean, the whole week was like really intense, and the course at Royal Melbourne was unbelievable. I mean, I think it's one of my favorite right now. And it is a lot of strategy. I remember Ernie was telling us, like, don't hit many drivers, you gotta position the ball like on the right side, and it was more like a smart play. And yeah, it was different course. I remember in Chicago, you just hit driver everywhere, and every bunker was like 3 or 305, 310 carry. So I was trying to hit it as far as I can, and he was going straight to, which is really good that week.
Well, I want to unpack some of that then, because I love when professional golfers, especially, have to play some kind of strategy. You just outlined it perfectly there. Ernie telling you not to hit drivers, whereas Olympia Fields just gives you the right of way to hit drivers all over the place. What are some of the examples from Royal Melbourne that you remember as far as strategy? Because I think back to that very first hole and seeing how the strategy on that hole changed from session to session based on where the pin was. Some days it made sense to hit a driver way down there, but if the pin was tucked on the right, maybe it made sense to hit more of an iron off of it. What kind of influence did Ernie as a captain have on that decision making, and what did you, I guess, learn about that as the week went on?
Yeah, the good thing that, like, when we were on the course, there were 4 captains, so they were telling us like, hey, you better hit it here because the group in front was here, and it was tough for this pin. And we always talk about a little bit before the round, like where it was better to hit it. And yeah, I mean, I think we created a good strategy from the tee on defend everything where it was, but yeah, probably if I would go there again, I'll probably be a little bit more aggressive with the tee. I like being more aggressive with the tee, but yeah, it was a special week where I had to listen to the captain,
Well, yeah, I mean, from what I gathered, there were at least one of your teammates maybe had some issues kind of listening to the captain. Do you have any idea what I'm referring to?
I don't remember. No, which one?
I think we heard some rumors aggressive, a bit too aggressive with the driver, and that didn't sit very well with Ernie.
Yeah, Hador, yeah, he was funny. Hador is a really funny guy. I was laughing the whole week with him. Just the way he talked, the way he said things, it was really funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there was like something like off of him, like Ernie didn't like it. I think it was just something, I don't know. I mean, he wasn't like really much into it, or I say, or I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it was different. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so what's it like for your first match? What was your reaction, I guess, when you see that, one, you're going to be here at Mark Leishman, and two, your first match, first one off at the President's Cup, you're going up against Tiger Woods. The first name, of course, the one I'm focusing on the most. So, I mean, what was that excitement and nerve level like going into that opening match?
Yeah, I remember they were doing the matches in the morning, I think. And yeah, I remember they told me that yeah, you're gonna play with Leash, and I want you to go first because Mark is from Australia, and I want to get the crowd going, And I was like, yeah, perfect. I mean, Leishman is a really good guy. I love playing with him, and it's easy to play with him, So I was saying to her, like, yeah, sure, I'll go first with Leash, and then they put Tiger and JT. I was like, oh yeah. I mean, at the beginning I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. And then I got to the tee. I was a little bit nervous. I think it was my more nervous tee on the first tee. I hit an awful shot, but yeah, it was fine. After the first hole, I played great. And yeah, Tiger played awesome that day. I remember.
Had you played the Tiger before in any other PGA Tour events?
No, that was my first time. I remember I played just once here in Jupiter, but just like a random day, But it wasn't like a tournament. He's in a different mood. He's more serious.
Yeah, he was extra dialed in that week. So what's the aura, I guess, like? I mean, I imagine it's kind of a weird one. It's a home event for you and your team, even though you're obviously not from Australia. But I also get the sense that Tiger, even in Ryder Cups, carries this kind of people are still cheering for him, even if they're rooting for the international team. I feel like people still want to see Tiger succeed. Could you sense any of that out there? And what was it like going up against him in competition?
Yeah, I mean the crowd in Australia it was good. I mean it wasn't like unfriendly with the American team. I mean I never been to a President's Cup in America, but I haven't heard like great things. Like they were telling me like yeah it's tough, they're really rude and that. Which is I mean it makes sense. I mean it's those type of events that I mean it is what it is and you gotta have fun and the crowd is gonna be like that of course because you're in America. But yeah, I mean it was yeah when you see Tiger playing great, I mean nobody is like I guess Tiger is Tiger. I think for me is the best player from history. And yeah, I mean the crowd in Australia they were always laughing with him when he hit a good shot and when he was on the team. So yeah, it was fun to watch.
Well, I gotta ask. At one point, there's a point in your match against Tiger where he's stalking a putt, and it almost looked like you were maybe a bit annoyed or maybe at how long he was taking, and you made kind of like a motion, like a circular motion with your hand, as if Tiger needed to speed up. And the cameras showed whatever that motion was. Like, did I read that motion right? Was that what you were referring to?
No. I never tried to do anything to anyone. It was just a caption that it made a lot of sense, but no, I was just talking to myself maybe or doing some I don't know, but no, it wasn't the case.
Okay, I was gonna say that would be quite the daring move for someone up against Tiger like that. But it really did look like that. I tweeted out something.
Yeah, it really did look like that. But
okay.
Yeah,
okay. It's a lot better story if it is something that you would have done, but that makes a little more sense than that. But what is it? I guess we touched on it, but what did you think of Royal Melbourne as a test for professional golfers? I mean, as a fan, that was as engaged as I've ever been watching strategy and watching shots unfold. Had you been to Australia before that or played any of those courses, and what did you think of it?
That was my first
Come on.
time. It was, I mean, I really enjoyed myself there because playing that course, it was so much fun because you gotta hit every shot you got. I mean, you gotta hit it high, you gotta hit it low, you gotta hit it right to left, and you gotta hit every kind of shot from the tee and from the fairway to the green. Yeah, I remember playing with Tiger the first day. He was playing awesome. I mean, he
there in Mackenzie, as is rural Melbourne, but it plays, I imagine, much differently. But anything that you've experienced anywhere in the world that would compare to that?
Yeah, I mean, now that you say it's kind of similar with Augusta, but it's like it plays like really different because it's different type of grass, different weather. But yeah, I mean, you gotta hit it both ways, and the greens are with a lot of elevation and movement, which is kind of the same.
You gotta hit it.
I mean, Royal Melbourne plays 3 or 5 times faster and harder than the Masters.
What kind of backtracking a little bit here and talking about, I know we've kind of danced around talking about your first win, which came at the Greenbrier last year. What was it like? You know, this wasn't your first time in contention for a win, but what was it like, kind of playing with the lead and trying to close that out compared to any other golf experiences?
Yeah, it was an amazing week. It was the whole week was awesome. I really liked that place. It was my third time there. I remember I played my first tournament, my first like Europe Tour event as an amateur. I played there, and then it was where I got my card, my tour card, and then where I got my first win. So it's a really amazing place which I love, and yeah, I just remember playing on Sunday the night. I just think about that, and it's amazing.
But do you think about at that point in your career? Are you thinking what's the biggest prize that comes with winning that? Are you know, I love a story of somebody who hasn't made a lot of money yet on the PGA Tour, winning a lot of money. Obviously, the status that comes with it. You know, locking that up for a couple years. What are you most nervous about coming down the stretch?
No, I mean, I wasn't thinking like too many stuff playing on the weekend. I remember I was so much into my game, like so much into getting the shot I wanted to. So everything was so quick during that back nine. I mean, I was like really into every shot. I was feeling every shot. So it was amazing. Like I wasn't thinking on. I mean, I remember I was on 18 and I have no idea what was my score. You know, so it was kind of those rounds where you don't know what your score is. Yeah, I was doing so much every shot that I just took everything away from my mind, and then when I realized that I was on the green on 18, I was like, oh Jesus.
Well, you know, I don't know how to get to this next topic. It's obviously been a tough couple weeks for you here, starting with, you know, from that win, you're obviously eligible for the 2020 Masters, which gets delayed from April into November. And yourself and Sergio both were the two people that came down with positive COVID tests before the Masters. Is it any easier to kind of accept that, knowing that you're already in another Masters that's just a few months away?
Yeah, it was hard at the first time, but yeah, I mean, it was hard because I was feeling that I was playing one of my best golf. I was feeling the ball great. I was feeling great on the tee. I was playing great, so I was like really prepared and looking forward for that week. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't hard also to stay home and just, you know, obviously I didn't feel great for like 3 or 4 days, so I had to stay on bed. But yeah, I mean, after that I was like, nah, I mean, it's fine. I'm gonna be back on April. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't that hard, but yeah, I mean, it hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you've got many more years to come playing. This would have been your first one as a professional. I want to talk about your first experience in it, but were you able to trace back, you know, where you got the virus from?
Yeah, so I was here at my house, and it was my mom here, it was my brother, my sister, and one friend, and I was playing golf, and I invited another friend that lives close by, and we played, and we came to my house, and we did like a barbecue, and then he left, and like 2-3 days after, he texted me like, hey, I don't feel great, I'm gonna do the test, and blah blah blah, and he did the test, and he went positive, and I'm like, oh Jesus. And I went on Monday to do the test on the morning, and I tested negative, which I thought it was weird because I wasn't feeling great on Monday. So I said like, nah, I mean, it can't be because I wasn't feeling great. I was a little bit sore, and I came back and did it again, and then I tested positive, and I was like, yeah, this makes more sense.
Well, was it? Did you you watch much of it on television?
No, because I was so much looking forward to getting out of the car. When the Masters started, I was able to go out on Friday at the Masters. So I just spent the whole day for those 3 days outside. Couldn't wait to go outside, and play golf.
Well, so you won the Latin American Amateur, which got you in the Masters into 2018. What was it like? What was your first Masters experience like? What was it like? Playing as an amateur? Did you stay at the crow's nest and do all that? It's just it's a dream for everyone to experience that, and I love asking people about their first time there.
Yeah, the crow's nest was amazing. It was a good experience being around with all the members here at the amateur dinner on Monday. It was a lot of fun. It was funny because it was like more than 200 people there, and it was like 5 or 6 amateurs, and they always pick like one amateur to say like a little speech, like saying thank you and we're happy to be here, and for like one person to say for all the amateurs, and they pick the only guy that doesn't speak English, of course, and they pick me. And they say like, hey, you gotta say some words, and that was before the dinner, and that was the entire dinner so nervous, like practicing what I'm gonna say, like, oh my god, it was bad. But yeah, I remember I saw a member the other day, and he was like, yeah, I remember the speech. I mean, he said it was great, so hopefully it was great.
Well, what is your experience with English? When did you learn it as a kid? How you obviously speak it very well, but was that always the case?
Yeah, I went to a school back in Chile where they do like both. I mean, almost class I did was in English, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't very good at school, so I never get to learn it too much. But yeah, I mean, I think I learned more than traveling and being around people that speak English. I think at the beginning it's hard to speak because you're a little bit afraid, like it's not gonna sound great, or you're gonna talk, I don't know, nothing, or at the beginning I think you're a little bit scared, but then you get a little bit more confidence and you just don't care what you say.
That's what some people will say, like, why does so and so need a translator? He speaks English, why does he need a translator? But I imagine, like you said, there's just a fear of one, saying something wrong, two, misunderstanding a question, and just being self-conscious of how you sound. That's why I always respect the people when people are willing to try English when it's not and it's stepping out of their comfort zone. That's something that I'm sure a lot of people kind of struggle with back and forth. That's the first thing you went for when you talk about going for your speech. So I find that interesting.
Yeah, it was hard at the beginning, but now it's fine. Now they all mess with me like, hey, I can understand you, but just
well, did you seek anybody out for practice rounds at Augusta that first year? Did you get to who did you play with, and what were some cool experiences?
Play with Tuesday I play with the Spanish guys, with Sergio, Rafa, and Larrazábal, which was a lot of fun because we speak a lot of Spanish. And then I played with Sergio again. I played with Nando Grace, and I don't know who else we played with. But yeah, I mean, also at the US Open I played with Rory, which was a lot of fun.
Well, I know a story emerged this past week about your cousin and some fundraising efforts you're making to help with a very expensive injection that will hopefully save his life. I wondered if you could share some of the details of that story, and maybe people can get involved with your efforts as well if they're interested.
Yeah, the last couple of days I've been posting a lot of Rafita. The Rafita is really close for me, and he's 1 month old, and he was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy. So it's a really rare disease, and it's really rare. The odds of getting disease is like 1 out of 10,000, and it's really uncommon. And to get the cure, the only medicine that you can get is the more expensive medicine in the world, that is almost like 3.1 million. So yeah, so I'm trying to help him out to get his medicine. Also back in Chile, I got all my brothers that are helping out. They create an Instagram. They create an Instagram that is called Sabemos Rafita, and they've been getting more than 10,000 followers right now, which is really amazing. I mean, it's amazing to see it's really expensive medicine, and to get to that amount of money is really hard. I mean, any family in Chile cannot afford that. And so yeah, I also last week I was donating 5,000 for every birdie and 10,000 for every eagle that I made during the week, and also my prize money. So yeah, I just been trying to help him out, and it would be awesome to get the cure as soon as possible, because he needs it, and it's the only way that he can survive and still alive.
Yeah. I have here you were contributing $152,450 just from your prize money and your birdies and eagles that you made this past week. So, and it's wild. The timeline of the story is what's especially wild to me, and how tight the timeline is, and how expensive it is. I've never even heard of anything like this.
Which is more amazing, other than like trying to get the money, it's amazing to see all the support from all the guys. I've been here for like just 2 years, and I haven't get to know every one of them, but it's crazy the amount of support that I've been getting from all the guys on tour. It's amazing. So just I don't know if Martinez gonna make it or not, but hopefully he does, because it's a lot of money. Just knowing that I got the support from all the guys is really amazing, and also from all over the world. There's a lot of people that have been helping out. I did a GoFundMe on my Instagram to try to get all the money. So yeah, more than 2,000 people has been donating, which is really, really, really amazing. And yeah, just know that I got all the support from all those people is really special.
Yeah. Who are some of your closer friends out there? Either that you've known for a long time, or friends you've maybe made on the PGA Tour.
The main guy that I played practice round with, and is all the Latin guys. They allowed Carlos. He just won, it was amazing to watch. And also with Sebastian. Now that Camilo is back on tour, and he played great last week too. It's nice to be around him, because I remember I grew up watching him on TV, which was amazing. Now I'm able to also play with him, and I play a couple times with him also here in Jupiter. Yeah, there is a lot of guys, Sergio, Yuri Vegas. Yeah, it's a really, really nice group we got on the Latins.
How did you end up in Jupiter? How long have you lived there, and why did you choose to live there?
I've been here since I turned pro, probably more than 2 years. And yeah, I remember I came here once with a friend that lives here in Jupiter. And yeah, I always heard that there were really good golf courses, and all the guys live here. So, and also, Florida is one of my favorite places on the States. And it's also easy to fly back to Chile from Miami. That is just like an hour away. And I think that's why I choose Florida. I'm right next to the ocean, which I like to do. I like it here.
It's amazing, just the gravitational pull that place seems to have for professional golfers. It grows bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a lot of the biggest names, and a lot of many tour guys, and everyone seems to be going there. Where do you play most of your golf down there? What kind of games do you get in down there?
Yeah, I started being member at Time Reserve. There's a lot of guys there. It's Corey Corners, Outlaw. And I also joined Medalist a couple of months ago, which is nice, with a lot of guys there. And I got a friend from Chile also. There's Hugo Leon, and I play a lot of golf with him. So yeah, it's nice. There's a good group around here.
You said you played with Tiger out there. Was it at Medalist? And was that just kind of a random accident that happened one day, or how did you end up playing with him?
Yeah, it was just I was there, and then I went with Hugo, and yeah, he was like, yeah, let's go and play. I will play a couple holes.
From where I'm sitting, your game is obviously translated well to the professional scene. You've won at such a young age. How would you kind of assess how your transition has gone, and what do you see as areas that you need to improve in? I'm looking at your ball striking stats are fantastic. Your putting seems to be pretty solid. Where do you see your best opportunity to get even better?
Yeah, I think it's not more like about that. I think it's just trying to get everything together on the same week, and I think that's when you win out here on tour, because you gotta have every part of your game at 100% to have a chance to win. So yeah, I've been feeling great with my whole game. I think it's been getting more consistent during
some of the highlights of the tour season for you?
Yeah, I gotta say Hawaii was one of my favorites. I mean, more than just being out there, it was beautiful.
What anything you've learned, I guess, from planning, scheduling, and everything? You know, did you overdo it early in the year? Did you want to play more tournaments? I feel like every pro kind of goes through some kind of learning experience when it comes to scheduling and traveling and things like that. I'm wondering if you've gone through that.
Yeah, it's hard to get a score because every tournament I was looking at like the other day, like what tournaments I want to play, and there's
Did you
so
shank
many
it?
tournaments that they're so good.
The heck did you
I'm
do?
like, oh man, I wanted to play everything, you know?
It's got to be hard to take weeks off, you know, when there's so many opportunities like this.
Didn't
Yeah, I
shank.
mean, there's so many good places, good golf courses, good fields. So yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to decide, and sometimes not play one of your favorite events because you want to play. I don't know, like you're planning your strategy for the whole year. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, but at the minute they think that you gotta rest sometimes also. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to do a good schedule.
Do you have a rule of, you know, I won't play this many weeks in a row, and have you ever kind of overdone it a little bit?
Probably, I'll say that my max will be like 3 weeks. I think sometimes last year I did.
Are you kidding me? Hit it.
Because I wasn't playing great for a time, so I decided to play a little bit more and just keep going. But yeah, I mean after that I learned that I don't need more than 3 weeks.
Do most of the guys that can fly, you know, come to and from Jupiter, how often do you fly private versus flying commercial, or do you ever hitch a ride back on some of the guys that have their own planes? How often